Hello, Leo. Welcome to your tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have the Eon, or Judgment card, Rebirth, Reawakening, the Baptism by Fire, the Trial by Fire, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. Okay, this is a doorway to a new reality. It's a choice to go through this doorway and begin a new era of your life. This is big time. Okay, it's always a painful doorway. It always requires us to leave behind everything that's not essential to us. Okay, as we go through this fiery, it's a doorway of fire, right? As we go through this doorway, it burns off everything that's attached to us that is not part of your essential self. Okay, so it's a purifying fire. All right, and it really changes your entire future. Let's see what's going on with this card. Let's put it into a little bit of context with our Dove and Serpent spread. Our next card is that Seven of Cups. Okay, we've got a sun underneath. We've got the Princess of Cups behind us, Five of Cups up top, and a Prince of Swords in the future position. Over here we have the Eight of Cups, a Prince of Cups, Six of Pentacles, and a Princess of Swords. I feel like you're kind of, you're in this mode of relearning some things. See, we go from the Princess to the Prince of Water here, right? But then we go from the Prince to the Princess of Air. So I feel like you're maturing, you're solidifying an emotional state, you're solidifying a value or a feeling or an intention or a wish, right? So it's going from princess to prince, so it's kind of it's a maturation. But in terms of the air energy, we're going down the hierarchy of the court cards, you see. We're going from the prince back to the princess. So I feel like you're doubling down on your gut feeling, your instinct, you're doubling down on this wish, this hope, this dream, this aspiration. But it's going to require that we relearn some things, okay? We're sort of going back to we're taking the role of the student here and saying I'm going to and really with that, especially with the Eon card in that context, it feels like we're sort of breaking through into a new universe. And guess what? When you get to that new universe, you're the new kid in class, right? So the ceiling, when we're breaking through the ceiling, we're trying to level up. Guess what? That ceiling becomes the new floor. Right. So this doorway that you're going through, on the other side of that, it's sort of like starting over again, but on a higher plane. All right. We're sort of, we're the new kid on the block now. All right. And I think that this requires a lot of purging of whatever the Seven of Cups is for you. A lot of this emotional residue, right? Maybe from a past situation. It could be things that we are still sort of attached to, but because there's this and the Five of Cups, I think you're realizing that these aren't your goals anymore. These are things that you don't care about in life, and these may be what you've been pursuing. And now there's this realization that, you know what, I don't care for these things anymore. These were distractions. These were things that have gotten in the way of you truly manifesting whatever this dream back here really is. Okay, so this is definitely an awakening. This is a lot of clarity. And, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite and Unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. Happy little Bob. And now we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments. All right, let's do it together. Let's look around the room here. Our major arcana, we have 2 of them. It really is about you becoming your essential self, right? Going through this doorway. The sun has to choose to go through that doorway and take on the responsibility of this new life that you're going to be creating. Okay, it's a decision to let go of the past, but I think it's really letting go of what these 7 cups are for you. Now, the 7 cups, like I said, are going to be these kinds of these false goals that we've had in life. These things that we thought we wanted, but now I think that you're getting them or you have gotten them. You're realizing that's not what I wanted after all, right? Those aren't the things that are going to fulfill me. So you're seeing something that was once probably very glamorous, very attractive, and you thought you desired it, but then it's like, wait a minute, no, I'm seeing it for what it really is. This is not something that's good for me. It's something maybe feels good in the moment, but it's not good for you long term. Okay, not everything that feels good, right, is good. And so I think that these are, this is more obstacles and distractions than actually the attainment of your goals here, right? So we've got the 2 major arcana. And the sun, of course, is the clarity of all of this. It's your ability to see past, present, and future. It is a spiritual awakening that's taking place here. And I think also it's the clarity in the terms of being able to see this for what it really is. See, in other tarot packs, the 7 of Cups, it looks very glamorous, right? It looks like it's something that's up in the clouds, and there's all these gifts and all the bounty that we see inside the cups, and it makes us feel like, oh, that's beautiful. That's what I'm after, right? But in the Thoth deck, we see it for what it really is. It's the false goal. It's the misleading path, right? Leading us towards something that may sound good, it may feel good in the moment, but it really isn't for us. And the sun now is that clarity of vision, that spiritual vision that is able to see all of these things in your life for what they really are. And these are the things that we have to sort of purge as we go through this fiery doorway. It's a baptism by fire, right? We don't see any other fire here. I mean, that's the fire we need right there in the middle. We definitely have water, a lot of water. So I feel like it's really about the desires, about the emotions, about what we are attracted to, what we are seeking, what we're wishing for, what we are attracted to, and what we're realizing now that, okay, I was attracted to this, but now I see that it's really, this is a swamp. This was a trap, right? We see a little bit of air energy, which is in, these 2 cards. And then we see our earth energy here, with the 6 of Pentacles, okay? So the 7 is that which we need to purge. It is the emotional residue. And I kind of, I see this as us, when we think we want something really, really bad, right? And then we get it and we realize, oh, this wasn't as satisfying as I thought. It wasn't nourishing to me. And that's kind of a simple case, like you go to pick a new paint for your house or something, and then you get it home and you start painting, you're like, you know what, this is kind of an ugly color, I don't like it. It's not that big of a deal, right? But sometimes we get into this habit of choosing things that maybe feel good in the moment, or it's, it's anything that we're sort of, we develop a habit, we develop a compulsion to do it, even after we realize that, oh, you know what, it's not really good for me anymore. We keep doing it, and of course it gets beyond neutral, it starts becoming bad for us, okay? And I think these are some things that we have to let go of in order to really move toward success and happiness and the fulfillment of the dreams that you have. I think that really this, whatever the 7 of Cups is for you, it got in the way of you following this dream back here. The Princess of Cups, I think that you've always had a very intense imagination. I feel like you might even be kind of a medium or a psychic, okay? I'm also seeing some painting in your kitchen. Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know. It feels like it's a painting of nature or of an outdoor scene or something, and a field, trees, maybe water, and maybe a little house there, kind of in this painting. I feel like you've kind of always known what you wanted in life, and you had this dream for yourself. You had this wish or this hope or this aspiration, and I think somewhere along the line we got stuck in that Seven of Cups, that swamp, And it may even be more than one thing that sort of distracted us in a way. And sometimes, that distraction, it is not so obvious. Sometimes it takes the form of things that we really think are the path. We really love it. And then we get further down that path until maybe that's it. Maybe that's life. But I think for you, with this Sun card underneath, you're waking up to this realization that, wait a minute, these cups are not my cups. This path is not my path. These things that I've accumulated or acquired, these habits, these attractions, these connections that I've made are not mine. They are not for me. They're not part of this dream. It's kind of, in a way, it's like some sticky glue that the Princess of Cups has stumbled into, and now it's kind of hard to get out of that. But the beauty here is that you're realizing what these things are. And they could be anything from physical habits, from physical objects, links, magical links to other people that you need to identify and sort of get rid of in order to sever connections with people from your past. This could be habits of thinking. It could be beliefs, right? They could be it could be emotional attachments that we have to people or places or things that are preventing us from really going after what we want. Okay? And maybe confusing this stuff right here for what we wanted. Well, this is it. This is what I wanted. Well, I think the Sun down here is telling a different story. Okay? This is your spiritual consciousness. This is your true self, right? Trying to illuminate what that Seven of Cups is for you. And we have to allow that to take place, okay? Because the Seven of Cups, and that's the issue with the Seven of Cups, is that it's going to look very nice. It's going to look very attractive. And sometimes the things that look the best, that seem the most attractive, really are hiding something sinister inside of them, okay? And I'm not talking about people necessarily, but it's kind of like somebody that really goes out of their way to please you or to be friends with you. It's almost like they're casting a spell on you, right? So we have to be very careful with those kinds of relationships. And as much as we are trying to purge and jettison all of the negative energy that's attached to us, we're trying to also hold on to that really positive energy and those good people in your life and take them with you. And it's always the difficult thing to do. But the Sun is here to give you that clarity and that enlightenment so that you can see the true nature of your relationships with other people and things and places and objects and everything else, right? So it's really allowing, without the sunlight, we would see the Seven of Cups as just beautiful flowers, a wonderful, glowing, radiant tree, but you put on your spiritual glasses here and you're able to see, okay, this is the stuff that's been slowing me down. These are the things that have been preventing me from leveling up my life, from breaking through to the other side here, right? And starting my life in that new era. Okay. The Five of Cups up above everything is part of this, because it's the realization that something should be here, but it's missing. When I have all these 7 cups, right? And in 7 of Cups, it's kind of a sleight of hand. It's like they're not going to let you look too quickly at it. It's like, what do you see? Beautiful tree. I don't know, flowers, roses or something. But if you look at it long enough, you see that it's, oh, wait, wow. The longer you look at this card, the more you kind of get that feeling, right? And this is that feeling that it should be something else, but it's not. And so we feel this disappointment in things. And I think that with the awakening of this spiritual sight, let's say your third eye is just being, is being opened, right, for you. The first feeling we get is one of disappointment. It could be, it could be shock, it could be disgust, it could be fear, right? But I think really it's this disappointment in life generally, because it's like, wow, I thought this was the good life. I thought this was everything I wanted, but now I'm really looking at it and it seems like it's sort of this, decaying, swampy sort of energy, right? So the Five of Cups is that feeling that I thought it was something else, but it's not. And it's like, I don't know what that emotion is, right? We sometimes feel guilty or ashamed of ourselves that we stayed with this for so long, right? But we need to let these emotions happen. We need to feel how we feel, but we need to let them go, because the Princess of Cups is still there, still has that dream, still knows kind of what it wants and knows what this wish and hope and dream and aspiration is. So what we're doing here is we're trying to sort of clean out the closet here, clean out the basement, and purge all this unnecessary stuff. And a lot of that's going to be difficult to do. A lot of that's going to cause some pain, and sometimes the Five of Cups is enough to slow us down, where it hurts too much to part with this thing. I don't want to give it up. I'm going to keep it. Keeping it isn't healthy for you, right? So the pain of giving it up is kind of is much easier to deal with than the pain of keeping it with you forever and ever. Okay, especially as the longer you keep it with you, the further away this dream gets from you, the further away the Princess of Cups feels. And it's just like, now it's been so many years since I really felt that aspiration that now I don't even know what it would be like, right? But we strip our life down to the bare essentials here. And that is a sort of a painful process, and the tears will flow, but it's worth it because you're leveling up your life. Now, in the future position, we have the Prince of Swords. This is a commitment, right? This is kind of, and we have to take this in context with our Princess of Swords, because sometimes we're so fixed in our habits, we're so fixed in our mind, right, in our beliefs, that we don't find it easy to change. Okay, so this is maybe a kind of an intellectual stubbornness, right? And what we see between the two cards here is that we are giving up this idea that I'm right and I know what I'm talking about and everything I say is correct. We're sort of we're breaking ourselves down and thinking, you know what, I've got to relearn life in this new way now. I've got to absorb, I've got to learn, I've got to study, I've got to develop new skills to deal with this, because the Prince is a fixed air energy, very stubborn, not willing to change its mind. Okay? Not willing to change your mind about things. There's a connection with Southern California for you. I don't know what that Southern California connection is, right? I feel like your spirit guides have kind of been screaming at you. And there is a resistance in you for the message. There's like I said, an intellectual stubbornness. But we see that breaking down into the Princess of Swords, when the Princess of Swords is saying, okay, I'm willing to sort of learn again. I'm willing to admit that, okay, I'm a student and I don't know exactly what I'm doing and how to do this. So I've got to learn new things. Again, it's like when you level up, you're the new kid in town, right? You're the new kid on the block, right? And you've got to sort of be open. You can't really go in thinking that you know everything, right? Because you don't. This is a new era. You're going to a new phase of your life, and you're going to have to learn things again. You're going to have to learn new skills, new techniques, and establish new relationships, have new conversations, find a new way to talk to yourself and to other people, Conversely, what you're doing with this, with the dream, with the water energy, is that you're doubling down on it. See, now we've got the Prince of Cups as a stabilizing of the energy of the princess. Okay, so you're giving up this idea that you know everything, and you're willing to learn and be open to to the route and how we get there, and you're willing to be the student again. But the one thing that you're not doing is giving up on your dream or allowing that to be in any way changed or manipulated or altered, right? So now we have this fixed water energy, which says that you believe in nothing but this dream now. And that dream, having this commitment to this dream, this fixed water energy, having that sort of commitment and not budging on that is sort of giving you the power to say, okay, well then I can be open to new ways of doing things, new skills, new techniques, new relationships, new words to use. Maybe I've got to learn a new language, learn a new vocabulary. If it means that I can pursue this dream. And this makes everything worth it. This is the one thing that you're not compromising on. This is the one thing that is not being sort of burned away from you in this fiery doorway transition kind of energy. Okay, so I really like that we have the stabilization, the reification of this sort of dream, right? A doubling down on your commitment to this part of yourself, right? This is your truth. This is your essential self. Okay, this is kind of that fundamental dream in life that you have of what kind of life you want to live, or what it is, what your inner truth is. Okay, this is your commitment to living an authentic life, and even if that means that you've got to, you got to be willing to change your mind about things. You've got to be willing to see things differently and identify this. I can't help but thinking of that one show. I'm not associating this with you, but that show Hoarders, right? Are we emotional hoarders, right? Do we hang on to every single thing that has ever happened to us, right? And then the thought of letting one little thing go puts us into a 5 of Cups, and we feel the pain of that separation from that thing for whatever reason, because it's familiar, because it's comfortable, because it means something from a long time ago or whatever. Are we sort of have to learn a new way of doing things, right? And that's always going to be difficult. But if you have this commitment to your essential truth about your life, about who you are, and you have this desire to live authentically and find out what is trying to manifest into the world through you, everything else can be compromised on. Everything else is negotiable. This is what is not negotiable for you. Okay? This is your fundamental nature. Everything else, my beliefs, my thoughts, my habits, my personality, my aesthetic, everything else is kind of, that's all stuff that can be changed. That's all stuff that is it's all on the table, right? I'm flexible about all of that stuff, but there is that essential part of me that after everything else is stripped away, that's still there. Okay? And that really, truly is your solar nature. It is your star, right? That essential part of you that holds your essential nature, holds your spirit, right? And is sort of lighting the way in your life, showing you the path. All right. I feel like there's some unexpected money coming in your life too. I feel like you're going to get a stabilization of the financial situation. Okay, because I feel like there's some sort of worry there now. Things are gonna work out. Okay, whatever you're waiting for, it's gonna happen. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment, let me know where in the world you're watching from. So your general energy is this 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is somehow, sometimes a feeling of hopelessness, right? A feeling of, things have been this way forever and they're never going to change, and I'm powerless to do anything about it. There's no hope left here. Right? I kind of feel like we're getting to that point with that 7 of Cups. It's like even when we realize what it is, sometimes we just feel like it's too late. It's gone on too long. I've come too far, and it's just, I missed the boat kind of thing. But what I'm feeling with this, it's kind of a surrender. If we do sort of harbor that feeling of helpless and hopeless energy, perhaps that is perhaps it's this feeling as if I've got nothing else to lose. So why not? Why not go through this doorway and take this opportunity and let go of everything that I don't need in life and just kind of start fresh, start as a new kid in school, in this new level, and start this new phase of life. Okay. I do feel like there might be a really big move coming soon for you, and also Spirit's saying that you recently lost something, and that it's going to be returned to you once you sort of stop looking for it. Does that make sense? So it kind of feels like at that point where we resign ourselves to just say, you know what, I'm powerless to change any of this, right? That's kind of when the opportunity shows up for you to rediscover that hope. That kind of comes as a, and maybe this will be a synchronicity for you. If you lost something recently, just abandon all hope, ye who enter here, and you'll find it. It will, and then you'll stumble upon it randomly. It's kind of like when you're searching for the word, it's on the tip of your tongue. You can't figure out what the word is that you're trying to say. And the harder you try, the more frustrated you get, and the further away it feels like it gets. And then you forget about it, and then a couple hours later, and you're driving home, you're thinking, banana, that was the word. It's kind of like that. Once we sort of abandon that striving, and maybe that's why there's no fire energy here too, because you're being told that you're not really, you're not being told to force your will upon anything. You're kind of being told with all this water energy to just let things go, to just let the water flow from you. And as you go, it's an intentional fiery decision to go through this doorway. But once we submit to that doorway, we sort of fall into it, and Spirit takes care of the rest. And we allow that process to happen. We don't interfere with it. And I think that that we realize what is truly important in life. And that brings us to our Prince of Cups, because that is your essential truth. That is what is important to you. Yeah. And you're you're transitioning into this life where this is the code by which you live. This is what is important to you. And I think that you're wearing these actual reality glasses, these spiritual, the spiritual goggles here, and you're able to see everything for what it truly is. And if it doesn't jive with your essential true self here, then you're passing it by. I think there's a movie or something like that, right? I can't remember the name of that movie, but it's basically the same thing, where you're able to recognize things that are truly healthy and nourishing for you, and that are part of your path and that are meant for you, and you're able to very clearly recognize things that are not. Okay. The Six of Pentacles in the position of the obstacle, the fear, the worry, the concern. This is the card you don't want, but the card you need. I think you're kind of a lone wolf right now. Spirit's saying that you need people. Spirit's saying that there's maybe an unusual gathering happening for you right now. That you're going to find a lot of people. It's like after the dust settles, there's going to be a few people still there. Those are your people, right? And so what we don't want, of course, is to surround ourselves with people just for the sake of it. We don't want to surround ourselves with stuff, people, places, things, emotions, right? Just to have something there. So what we're doing is we're purging everything, and then whatever is still there, whatever remains, whatever connections are still have survived that, those are the meaningful ones. Okay? So how do you do this in a very practical way? Well, I think it takes a lot of sort of introspection, even meditation. It takes a lot of deep conversations with yourself, right, about what's important and what your life is surrounded by. Not just talking about stuff or people, but what has filled up your life, and is all that stuff really necessary? Are all these thoughts, feelings, beliefs, values, and people, places, and things, commitments, are all of these things absolutely necessary for you to live the life that you want? Okay, maybe they are, but I'm positive that you will identify a few things that are just there because there's this emotional, there's some sort of emotional need that those things are fulfilling for you. Okay? And so when we try to strip away basically everything, and just maybe as a thought experiment too, like what would happen if I just got rid of everything that I'm doing in life? What would I bring back in as being essential core pieces of myself? Okay? And that's kind of the Six of Pentacles, is that we want to surround ourselves with things that are nourishing and nurturing to us, that are supportive of us. We want the right team of people around us, right? So we're not, Spirit in no way is advocating this kind of isolation. We don't see the Hermit card here, right? We see a lot of court cards, in fact. And so just this many court cards, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4 court cards, to say that there's a lot of people around you. And maybe you're someone who's very popular. Maybe you're somebody that really likes to be engaged with somebody that, is it easy for you right now at this time to sit still and do nothing? Or are you always engaged with people, right? I do feel like you're this lone wolf kind of energy. But at the same time, I feel that it's a strange way of being in need of a lot of people, but yet still cut off and still distanced from those, still isolated from those people. Okay. So if we really strip things down and we embrace that sort of lone wolf energy in a real way, a lot of people, they say, well, they sort of like to be alone. They're the lone wolf, right? But if you really look at their life, they're not. They rarely spend any time just alone with themselves. They're either on the phone, they're scrolling, or they're engaged in other things. They have this need for connection, though they don't want to admit it, right? I don't think that is you, but I think we have to be careful with, we have to be honest with ourselves. Do we really want people? Do we need people? I feel like we do. I feel like you're the kind of person that says, I don't want people around me, but you need people around you. So when I say, I don't want to be with people, well, you don't want to be with the wrong people, but you still need to have people around you. It's just we have the wrong people and we don't feel right. It doesn't feel good, right? It's not good for us. So if we continue to be in this toxic dynamic with the world around us, we're going to just be reinforced with this idea that relationships are bad for me and I'd rather be by myself. I don't think that's really true. I think you would rather be with the right people. Yeah, with the right people. So we got the Princess of Swords, which I think really is, we're out there meeting new people. We're out there learning things again. We're kind of putting ourselves in a new place. And maybe this is a little bit of a hermit energy in the sense that when you decide to take charge of your life, it's going to alienate you from your old friends. But you haven't yet found the new friends. So you're sort of in between. And when I say that you really need people around you, we're human beings. We thrive on interpersonal connections. It makes us who we are. But we're in this in-between stage where I'm getting rid of the sort of negative or unhealthy or toxic relationships, but I haven't yet established enough of the good ones yet, right? So we're in that in-between phase. And I think the Princess of Swords is out there trying to make those connections and trying to communicate and just really putting ourselves out there, learning new things. Maybe you're taking a new class. Maybe you're taking some kind of night classes or adult education classes. You might even be sort of changing your living situation in some way. Okay, I'm feeling some connection with you. I still have that Southern California location for you, but I'm also feeling kind of a European thing. Yeah, and I don't know where in Europe exactly. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's like the northern part. I feel like it's cold there. So I don't know if that's some kind of a transition or if those two places mean anything to you. But I feel like you're taking chances and you're realizing that just because what we have now is perhaps toxic, it doesn't mean that everything out there is toxic, right? And to say, well, I don't want people around me, right? Well, I don't want these things around me. I don't want this stuff in my life anymore. But I would like the supportive kind of, a Six of Pentacles where we're all supportive and we're all, this sense of community. So I feel like your living situation's changing in some way. Let's look at the mystery card. Well, maybe some fire, maybe another major arcana. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's the moon. We have the sun and the moon. And the moon is basically saying that, I'm scared of putting myself out there because there's just monsters out there. It's kind of like because I've experienced this, now I can sort of extrapolate and say, well, everything out there, I know it's nature now. It's kind of like one toxic person, and now you have an expertise on toxicity, and you're just saying, I don't want anybody. Nope, don't need people, because you know what? People are strange. People are toxic, right? But this is kind of saying that, look, the things out here are not what they seem. That we can't generalize from what we've been experiencing in life now. And this is the whole idea that we're burning off all of those connections, and we're finding some kind of a purity and some kind of a core truth in ourselves. And that's going to allow us to step boldly into the future, into the unknown, the dark, scary forest, where we're expecting monsters and just terrible, terrible nightmare things, horrifying things out there in the world, right? It's not going to be that. You're going to go out there, you're going to be the sun that illuminates that dark, scary forest, and you're going to see that, it's not everybody is evil. Not everybody is a monster, And so I think we're able to really make some authentic, strong, intimate connections with people. And we're going to find the right people, but we have to conquer this fear. This is the fear of, everything kind of out there being the same as what I've experienced now. We're not just talking about people, but the idea that I don't want to move forward in life because I'm just going to run into another swamp. So we think that all the water in the world is just swampy water. No, there's some crystal clear springs out there too, But there's a fear that's just that sometimes holds us back because we feel nothing out there could possibly be good because of what I've already experienced. And this may really be a letdown because maybe we thought this was the best relationship we had. We thought this was some pure water. And we were drinking the water every day, And then, of course, we get that illumination, and now we feel utterly disappointed and just completely let down by the world because, wow, I thought that you were real, but you're a 7 of Cups. Like, oh, man. And then we start to shun the entire world because we just think it's all going to be like this. It's not going to be. And the thing is, you're bringing your solar nature into that dark, scary forest so you can trust yourself that you can see things for what they really are. And that, I think, is a really important fact to keep in mind because it's going to allow you to conquer your fears, whatever they are, and embark on this new journey that is opening up itself to you. Now, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do a hexagram from the I Ching. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Leo Tuesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.